So this came through one of our members from the Jewish diaspora, Indian Jewish diaspora. He's an Indiaspora member in San Francisco, Abe Sophia, who was born in Mumbai, moved to the US, and is a part of the Indiaspora membership network. So he said I had to meet this gentleman who was just visiting from Israel. So I happened to meet him, and his story is truly inspiring. He was born and raised in Australia, goes to New York City to get his education, gets educated there, meets his wife-to-be, they get married, they go over to Israel, settle down in Israel. And then by chance, he's on a trip to India to do some IT stuff. He's in the IT industry. Starts walking the streets of Mumbai, falls in love with the city and with the problems that the people face, and decides to solve them. So he starts a nonprofit that does work in Mumbai and Maharashtra, but he is from Tel Aviv. So please give a warm welcome to Jacob.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Namaskar. Those panels were just amazing. I learned a lot. Thank you also, Emma, for this opportunity. My name is Jacob Sztokman. Again, like Emma said, I'm an Australian-born child of Hungarian and Polish immigrants, married to an American, living in Israel and working in India. So, like many of you, I too live in the diaspora. But something happened around 12 years ago that changed the trajectory of my life in ways that I did not anticipate. In 2011, I was working in a high-tech company in Tel Aviv and was sent to Mumbai. And while in Mumbai, I had the afternoons free, and I like to walk. And as you know, if you're in Mumbai and you walk 15 minutes in any direction, you end up in what they call a slum. And what I saw shook me to my core. I saw children with distended stomachs, rummaging through mounds of garbage, searching for food to eat. I saw one child being lowered into a sewer, used by adults to clean out the sewer drains. And when he came out, he was full of black tar. I saw children as young as 5 years old working on the streets and in small makeshift factories instead of attending school. And my heart sank. I have 4 children, thank God, and I thought to myself, these children are just like my children, just like your children. I understood that it was just a matter of fate, that one lives here and one lives there. I came home, and for weeks I couldn't sleep. The images of the children were haunting me, and I sat up in the middle of the night doing research, trying to find solutions, trying to figure out what I could do. Me, a foreigner, living thousands of miles away, not knowing about the culture and society, and not understanding the issues of extreme poverty. It's true, I didn't know much back then, but I cared. And I wanted to do something, and I was willing to learn. I flew back to India a few times and began to speak to NGOs working in this space. I connected with a local NGO providing education in the Kalva slum in Thane in North Mumbai, and spoke with leading members of the community working on these issues. Together, we designed a simple, impactful solution, nutritious meals for kids who attend basic literacy classes in the slums. To stop child labor, to combat malnutrition, and to ensure that kids would receive an education, we provided children with food in makeshift classes in the slums. We collaborated with women's cooking cooperatives in the slum and hired them to make the meals, a sustainable win-win solution. 6 months after this fateful trip to Mumbai, I left my job in high-tech and opened up Gabriel Project Mumbai, otherwise known as GPM. We created a community-led development organization that creates innovative and comprehensive solutions to the problems of extreme poverty in vulnerable communities, in urban slums, and in tribal villages in rural Maharashtra. Over the last decade, we grew as an organization and increased our impact in many communities in urban and rural settings. Today, GPM provides a comprehensive array of holistic grassroots programs to address immediate needs along with root causes of extreme poverty, including initiatives in the areas of education, nutrition, healthcare, hygiene, literacy, livelihood, farming technologies, and community development. We operate medical clinics, schools and education programs, safe drinking water facilities, malnutrition interventions, and many dignified livelihood enterprises. We've set up a large center in a tribal area of Mokhada, in the Mokhada Taluka, which is in Apalga district of Maharashtra, tackling these issues impacting the historically marginalized Adivasi tribal communities. I've been growing too. I went back to school twice and earned a master's in international development and then a master's in nonprofit management. Like GPM, I'm also a work in progress. All the growth and success is due to a powerful underlying strategy that I'm eager to share with you today. And it's simply this: partnerships are the essential force that propels social development in India. Our work is based first and foremost on listening and engaging with the people in the community, along with the most important aspect of our work, partnership and collaboration. From our humble beginnings, when we partnered with a local educational nonprofit and a small women's collective, we now collaborate with pan-Indian NGOs, local government departments, corporates, volunteers, civil institutions like hospitals and universities, foreign NGOs, consulting agencies, and even foreign governments. We not only speak with the local community members, but we actively hire from the community. Our entire staff, 96% of our staff, are coming from these communities, from the slums and from the rural villages. And we make training and create change makers for the future who impact the communities they live in. The power of partnerships cannot be underestimated. With partners, an NGO like GPM that is embedded in the underserved communities gains expertise, knowledge exchange, financial resources, bureaucratic assistance, sharing of logistics, and sharing of best practices. And together, we are able to look at a problem from different angles. We like to support each other, be fiscally efficient, and be innovative and creative. It works in the corporate world, and it works in social development. This is critical because we have a lot of work ahead of us. According to the UN, and these figures are not unknown to you, more than 800 million people in India are considered poor. 61 million children don't have sufficient access to food. 12.5 million children between the ages of 5 and 15 are working instead of going to school. And 1.4 million children die each year in India before their 5th birthday. India is still one of the countries with a high child mortality rate. My lesson is this: we cannot break the cycle of poverty in India without active partnerships from within India and from all around the world. The Indian government certainly holds the primary responsibility for caring for its citizens and alleviating poverty, and you'll be glad to know the government is making a lot of progress. A 2022 government report found a 10% reduction in poverty over the last 5 years. That is, nearly 135 million people got out of the cycle of poverty since 2016. This is good news, very good news. However, the government cannot do this alone. And as we've said beforehand, actually no government in the world does it alone. In fact, the report cited the work of NGOs for improvements in areas such as nutrition, schooling, and sanitation, exactly what GPM is tackling. And the government often relies on the work of groups like ours to do the work in the field. I'll give you a striking example. In a discussion with the district agriculture officer of the Moncada Taluka a few years ago, he divulged that every year the federal government allocates to Moncada more than 320 crore, that's about $40 million, to the 59 villages in Moncada to access for pensions, agricultural grants like fertilizers, seeds, saplings, and social schemes. But at the end of the fiscal year, about 99% of that money is returned to the federal government. Why does this happen? And why does it happen year after year? Because the tribal people are mostly illiterate and they don't have the digital skills and computer access to fill out the forms in order to get the funds they deserve. So you know what we did? We established a program that, with exactly one purpose, to help Adivasi farmers access their grants. We set up 2 offices, purchased computers, hired computer staff, and sent social workers to remote villages to understand the needs of the people and explain what schemes are available to them from the government. Then we sat down with them and made their applications. This past year, I'm happy to say that we assisted 11,000 households in applying for government grants. We generated approximately 16 crore, $2 million, for the Adivasi community. And we did this with the blessings and the bureaucratic support of the Collector of Palgar, his office, and many relevant government agencies, assisted by local and international organizations in the field of logistics and psychosocial well-being. We had support from corporates, and of course, assistance from the Gram Panchayats and members of the community. Think about this for a second. With an initial investment of $100,000, we generated $2 million worth of grants and assistance. That's a 2,000% return. And it's money and services that enable families and communities to flourish and thrive. And they will rely less on the government in the future. It is a great success, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. The government can't do this alone. The people can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. We all need one another in order to make systemic change. NGOs like GPM rely on supporters from India and around the world, people like you who understand the issues and care about India. Vulnerable communities need us, all of us, to work in collaboration in order to fix what is broken. They need government infrastructure to work on systemic interventions. They need grassroots NGOs like us to build those connections between what the government can do and what the communities need. They need CSR funds and corporate expertise to assist in social development. And they need people like you, Indians from around the world, who care and who have resources to support the works of NGOs like ours to make sure that we always have the capacity to provide the services and the communities which rely on us. As we embark on our next chapter as an organization, a planned, innovative campus in Moncada, devoted to an array of development projects that will have ripple effects for the entire region, we are fully relying on this partnership model and collaboration with all stakeholders, especially from the Indiaspora community, to make this happen. We feel that this is a perfect model, as what was being said beforehand in the different panels. Each of us have a special role to play. Even me, a random guy from Israel who decided to jump into the fray. It comes from this idea of knowing what we can do and deciding just to do it. I fully believe that if we come together, all partners, the vulnerable communities, the government, the NGOs, the corporates, the civil institutions, and the Indiaspora community, together, we can really make a difference in the lives of so many. Thank you.